Welcome to FreightWaves Now, Monday edition style. I'm Chad Prevost. We've got a couple of cooks in the kitchen. We're talking to carriers and shippers. First, let's start with Zach Strickland.
All right, I brought back the outbound tender volume index for the United States. Year-over-year comparison here. So we've got 2018 in green sitting on top, 2019 in purple sitting on the bottom. You can see there is a clear drop-off in volume this year versus last. Now it's looking at about 5.5% lower this year versus 2018 up in the green there. Now it's a big deal that we're having such a big gap right now because this is the time of year where freight volumes tend to peak. It increases rate pressure, tender rejections go up, rates go up. So if we go to the next chart and break it down by mode, we're going to have the reefer tender rejection index sitting on top right here at 14.03%. It is slightly down versus last week. So we're starting to see reefer volume start to drive back down, which is a little early because normally this doesn't happen until probably July. And it's a little different from year to year. So we're seeing this kind of crest a little early. You see flatbed hanging on at 9.48% tender rejection rate, but all the way down here in the bottom you see van and just the general tender rejection. So van makes up roughly 80% of the volume. And those tender rejection rates are still staying relatively flat. We're watching these to go up this week, especially as shippers start to push out their lead times into the 4th of July week. So the 4th of July is going to happen on a Thursday this week, which means that shippers are really going to have all their freight out before they leave town.
Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at the Freightos Baltic Daily Index. It's daily pricing, spot pricing for a 40-foot container. And we're looking at China to North American West Coast, which you see represented here in green, and China North American East Coast, which is represented here in yellow. I wanted to bring your attention to what's happening currently. These rates right now are actually sitting just above where annual contract rates were signed by BCOs, also known as shippers. So your U.S. importers are getting right around those levels or maybe slightly lower. But this is the representative of the spot market, which those BCOs will obviously be subject to if the vessels can't, fulfill their space requirements for those BCOs.
Henry, is that a sign of strength in the shipping economy that these rates are slightly above contract rates?
I think so. It definitely, where rates, demand, supply don't always factor in like they should in ocean shipping. Really about 7 carriers represent around 85 to 90% of market share, especially in this trade lane. It is a sign that it is, in fact, we're gearing up for peak season. And this is a great point, Chad, because I wanted to call your attention to what's known as a general rate increase, or otherwise known as a GRI. If you look at July 1st and August 1st of last year, we had substantial increases on those 2 lanes from China to North American East Coast and West Coast. I would expect to see the same this year as well. So it's a great point about the volume, Chad. I wanted to show you a new metric we have captured within Sonar, and it's loaded TEU volumes. TEU stands for 20-foot equivalent unit. It's a volume metric that the ports, these are official port statistics, so they're actually reporting the amount of 20-foot containers. They could be 40 foots. It's just the way for them to break it down the smallest way possible. I have brought up here the 2 largest ports. One, obviously, LA and Long Beach. We have these combined, and then New York and New Jersey also have these combined here. And this is a real powerful metric to show you what happened last year. If you look at these 2 peaks, especially in white, Long Beach and Los Angeles, you had around 100 to 150,000 extra TEUs come into the port. That led to a lot of increases in the spot market with truckload pricing. We've also still feeling the effects from that inventory that was brought in last year.
So did that affect things in the economy for the entire first quarter of 2019?
Mostly, you would have seen a little bit of an increase prior to Chinese New Year, but most everything was pushed forward, especially to Long Beach and Los Angeles. Savannah, you did see a little spike here prior to Chinese New Year, but yes, just like you had mentioned, now this is fairly seasonal. I would say as well, if you look at year over year, this is historically kind of a down period in the lead up to peak season, holiday season. But I would expect both of these lines to continue on an upward trend. Overall, for loaded containerized imports, in terms of TEUs, we're seeing about a 3 to 4% increase from East Asia to the United States. So still some good news for carriers and shippers alike in terms of just, the economy, truckload market not just totally plummeting, but certainly unforeseen as far as how the trade war will continue to escalate.
So thanks for tuning in today. We are bringing you the best that we have each and every day. What is happening right now, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Share the love on social media. And in the meantime, don't worry, be happy.